Magnus Carlsen versus Vishy Anand at the World Blitz Team Championship 2026, and they are in a chatty mood right now.
So last round, basically, players like started showing something on the board.
No longer allowed. Yeah.
So that's why you have to make so we will just carry on.
After a not so great rapid section, Magnus is back on the board in the blitz section, and this time he takes Vishy Anand. The focus mode is on. This is the neuro game of the day. Let's go. Vishy Anand with the white pieces opens with pawn to e4, and Magnus plays the Sicilian. We have the e6 line, and Vishy goes for the open Sicilian. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes d4, and the knight comes out to c6. The Sicilian Taimanov is on the board. Knight to c3 and queen c7. This is very typical and has been seen many times. Bishop to e3 and a6, just taking the b5 square under control. Anand now has to decide between many different options. There is queen f3, which is getting quite popular. He goes for the solid bishop e2. He wants to short castle, and this is something that we've seen like hundreds and thousands of games in the databases. Magnus brings his knight out to f6. White simply castles. And now Magnus can go for a d6 move, which actually gets you into the Scheveningen theory. He goes bishop e7, and Anand goes f4 in order to play e5 quickly. d6 played. If you look at this position, black has two pawns in the center, slightly less space but very solid, and this is very good setup for a counter punch of d5 or e5 on the board. Okay, black castles here, and now white usually goes queen e1 to g3. That's a very typical maneuver, and Vishy does exactly that. On g3, the queen is looking at g7, also connects the rooks, and Magnus is thinking one of the normal ways to play this position is to take and play b5 with the idea of bishop b7. It has been seen many different times, but I guess Magnus would want to play something different to throw Anand off. Bishop d7 is what he plays, and Vishy is prepared. He goes queen to g3, continues with his plan. Magnus goes b5, and quickly a3 played in order to take control of the b4 square. And now knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop c6 seems like a natural way to play and seems pretty good. But there could be other ways, like rook c8 is one, rook e8 is another. Magnus taking his time. He goes rook b8 with the idea of b4 to attack the b2 pawn. But now Vishy has a very strong move. I wonder if he knows this, because to play it over the board without knowing it is super difficult. The move actually is to push the pawn in the center, and he does it. Wow. Vishy plays e5, and Magnus is now a bit surprised, because look, there are 1, 2 and 3 controllers on the e5 square. So what exactly is Anand thinking about? Maybe after d takes e5, he wants to take on c6, but then bishop c6 takes, and knight e4 seems completely fine for black. I mean, black is just totally okay. So Magnus actually trying to figure out, because if d takes e5 is safe, you want to take it. You don't want to play a move like knight e8. And maybe Magnus is completely surprised and shocked by what Vishy has done. He's gone down on the clock. Less than a minute now left for Magnus, while Vishy has 2 minutes. Wow. Can Anand beat Magnus Carlsen? That would be huge. He takes on e5. Vishy takes back, fe. And now the point is, if you take with the queen, knight c6, queen g3, and I have knight e7 intermezzo, and then I take the queen. So Magnus takes on e5, and now Anand, well, what's his plan? He has to reveal it. Boom, takes on f6. Bishop takes f6. And by the way, this has been played before by Garry Kasparov in 1978 USSR Championship. Bishop f4, and notice how you are threatening now knight f3, and the idea of rook takes f6 was to just deflect the bishop so that it could no longer go to d6. Quite unbelievable. And now Magnus in big trouble. He goes bishop c6, but Anand can simply take on c6 and then take on e5. He's thinking about his move. He takes it. Queen takes c6, and now bishop e5. And notice what has happened here. White now has two pieces for a rook. And more importantly, these pieces are very solidly placed. Look at this bishop on the long diagonal. Queen d6 offering a trade. I think taking the queen makes a lot of sense. Okay, you could consider queen h5 to try and threaten mate here. Go for the attack. But takes, and knight e4 attacking the rook. And now your plan is b4 and knight c5. Rook to c6 played by Magnus, b4 by Vishy. He has a winning position here. Knight to c5, the knight attacks the pawn here on a6. Rook d4 played by Magnus. Okay, one move if Vishy gets, either it's c4 or a4. He should be winning here. f5. And so Anand is trying to think of a4, but then the b4 pawn hangs. c3 makes the bishop a bit loose on d3. So he goes bishop f1. Notice he has 1 minute 9 seconds on the clock. Magnus has only 14 seconds. He plays rook d6, but now time for c3. c3 played, rook d2, now c4. Vishy, go for it. It's completely winning. c4 threatening to take and take on b5, or if you take b takes c4, bishop c4 attacking e6 and a6. Oh, Anand reaching out for the a pawn. No, play c4. Vishy, you have you have a minute on the clock. Think. He goes a4. But now Magnus is back. c3 pawn is weak. You know, with c4 you would have gotten rid of it. Takes. And now Anand wants to maybe capture here. You have to be careful. Black takes on c3. The other rook is ready to enter on d2. Bishop comes back to f1, king f7. And Vishy goes knight a4. His plan is to play b5, b6. Magnus goes rook to b3. The knight comes back. No, first b5. And now king f6. And now the knight comes to c5 attacking the rook. Rook b2. The position has now equalized from being a clearly advantageous position to white. You never know what's going to happen next. Will Anand be able to sustain this? Knight a4 played. Magnus comes back. Rook to b4. Knight goes in. And now rook d5. Magnus wants to play for a win. He can sense that Anand is not confident here. He's making some substandard moves. So knight d3 played. Rook to b3. Threatening to take here. And now rook d4 attacking the knight. g3 played, and Magnus starts expanding his pawns on the king side. Knight e2 attacks the rook. Rook enters in. And now Vishy blunders the b5 pawn. Magnus takes it. And all of a sudden, this is very difficult position for white because black rooks are active. And he goes rook c2, takes, rook takes. Both players down to their last few seconds. But Magnus now clearly in control. He's going to simply start pushing the pawns. e5 played. And for Anand, well, he has to figure out a way and he loses on the clock. Magnus Carlsen wins, and you know, immediately both speak about this move c4, which if played would have given Magnus a big trouble, and Vishy could very well have beaten Magnus. The opening preparation was just so good by Vishy Anand, and well, as the game gets over, Anand gets up, and well, both the players will go and watch the games of their other team members. But I just want to draw your attention to this opening that Vishy played. Maybe you can learn a thing from it and try to implement in your games. Great game by the Indian legend, but Magnus showing his skills and confidence until the very end. So just looking at this position, the last move was rook a b8, and now this move e5. Takes, and knight takes e5. And here is where in the game rook takes f6 happened. Bishop f4 would be not a good move, because now bishop d6 is possible and black is fine. So you know, the rook is open here, wants to take here the bishop. You simply deflect it and now play bishop f4. And I was wondering, like, let's imagine you play a move like rook d8, knight f3, and you lose the piece. There's just no way to defend it. So this was a very interesting sacrifice. In fact, there's also a very nice move rook d1, because now what happens is that this is a pin here, so the knight cannot move, the queen cannot move, the bishops are also a bit awkwardly placed, and if bishop d6, now rook takes f6 is hanging. So it's not so simple to wriggle out of this mess. For example, if you protect the queen so that the knight can move, now there's bishop f4, bishop d6, and I simply go knight b3 with the threat of rook takes and bishop takes e5. So knight e5, Anand took on f6, bishop f6. This was just to deflect the bishop from coming to d6, and now bishop f4, threatening knight f3. And at this moment, Vishy was clearly better and could have won the game.
Have you ever blundered a winning position because your brain just blanked out? That's called brain fog. In chess and in life, lack of attention and focus can cost you key games and key moments. Instead of reaching out for that third cup of coffee or that energy drink, which can overstimulate you or give you jitters, try NeuroGum. It's viral in the US. It has a clinically proven blend of caffeine that gives alertness and L-theanine that gives calm and stable focus without the jitters or crash. An MIT study even shows that it gets you to a high focus 21% faster. So focus better now with NeuroGum. Now available in India. Check the link in the description and in the pinned comment.